This is a tutorial on how to use the BulkHandler in Nimbus Voice. The Nimbus Voice BulkHandler can actually be used for a variety of tasks, importing and exporting extensions, DIDs. This will focus on extensions. It's the best way to input a mass number of extensions, anywhere from 20, 50 to 900. If you're doing a large school system, for example, this would be definitely the way to go for adding that number of extensions. So if it's me, if I'm going to create a system, a large system, I would go first and make an extension. So under applications, I'm going to go to extension, and I would create what I think is the way I want most extensions set up. So for example, I've got a test one here. I'm going to go inside of it. It's got a secret, so that's good. I would set up voicemail the way I envision setting up the voicemail on the other extensions. So if I am going to give them voicemail, then imagine this being like your template. This is your template for all of your extensions, and you can create multiple. So for example, we do want voicemail. We do want them to have voicemail to email. We want to attach it. So set this up like you would set up normally. If these are going to be remote extensions, then certainly you'd want to go to NAT mode and change that to yes. There's not much else you would change probably. Those are the big things that in terms of setting this up for a template. And then I would save it. So I've got one extension. If I, for example, want to have one extension with voicemail and one extension without voicemail, I would go ahead and create another extension without voicemail. I think of that as like another template. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Apply it. So now I'm going to go to my BulkHandler. The BulkHandler is under the Admin tab. As you can see, you can upload multiple extensions, DIDs, blacklists, and so on. But really, these first two are what I think the majority of people use this for. So the first thing you want to do is export your extension. Okay, what that is doing, you'll notice here's the CSV file down in my download bar. That's giving me a template for how I should program the rest of my phones. So if I open that up, it's going to take a second, so we'll let that go. I'm going to let that open here in a second. As that's opening, I'm going to show you the next step. So the next step is if you click on import and then click on extensions, notice right here you see this field, required is a star, and then recommended headers. So these are all the headers that it recommends or requires you to have. So when this opens, eventually, my Excel is a little crazy. You'll see at the top of my Excel 30, 40, 50 different headings. And one is extension, one is name, one is description, one is tech, one is secret, and there's a lot more, right? So this only has, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, what's that, 20, 23? So this recommends that when you go to upload a CSV file that you have those 23 headings. So if I go to click on it, it's opening about as slow as it possibly can. We're going to see all of these headings up here. So here we have extension, password, name, voicemail, ring timer, no answer. You don't need me to read all of them to you, but these are all the headings that it's talking about, and you can see it's filled in. So for example, here's my extension 100. It's a SIP extension. The name is test. Right? So this has all the information from that, and if we go all the way to the right, you'll find the voicemail that I put in. So there's your voicemail box is 100, port 5060, there's my secret. Right? So what I would then do, okay, notice that there's a lot of heading titles. Now the system only says that only 24 of them are required/recommended. So what I would do is, if it's not one of these, I would go ahead and delete it. So for example, password. Right, password is not one of the 24. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Okay, so I'm going to slowly shrink this down, like ring timer, for example. Ring timer is not one of the 24 column headings. Right, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So I'm going to make what I think is just these 24 headings, and then I'm going to begin to fill this in. I'm not going to go through that whole process right now. But say, for example, you want to make, the nice thing about Excel is you can either do this, 101, 102, 103. I mean, you can physically type them all in if you want, but you also can highlight and then drag down, and voila, I've just made, okay, I just went up to 137 there. And then I would type in the right name. So this is going to be Jim, Sally, Sean. If you want to keep it simple, and you don't want to give them their actual, some people do this, they just want to give them the name is the same as the extension, you can copy and paste. So now the extension is the same as the name. Voicemail. So once again, you're going to want to go through that list of recommended headers and get rid of the ones that aren't really needed. So for example, a lot of these aren't filled in. Voicemail, if it's a default, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down. I'm going to make default the same for all of them. These are all nothing. Music on hold. I've got two options here. Default, I could fill this whole thing in for default. Music on hold is not one of the recommended or required 24, so I don't even need it. One thing I will say that you should do, and it tells you this right here, under the secret category, if you want the system to make you a secret, you should type in regen. So if we click back on this, and then we find that secret heading, so it's over here somewhere, I thought. There it is. Okay. So this is that huge long secret that you're used to putting in the phone. If you want the system to make this for you, right, you type in regen, then you drag it down, it's going to regenerate, basically is what it's saying there, a password or a secret for all of those phones. And then if you want to go over here, to here's the voicemail email, okay, you would type in the right email for all these people. Once you feel like you have, gotten rid of the headings you don't want, filled in, you have to have these 23 or 24. Once you fill in it, even if it's nothing, you go ahead and just have that file there with nothing. You want to save it, and then you want to come back to, so I don't know, we'll see if this can take here. Right, so I'm going to save it. I didn't really fill it out as well as I should have. I should have had more information in there. But you're going to want to go back to the BulkHandler, and in this case, you're going to click on Import, and you're going to browse for that file. So if we take a look at quick access, so it's going to find the files I've been using recently. I'm going to then select that extensions. So there it is, extensions 9. And once again, like I said, I kind of shortcutted this, right? I didn't personally go through that Excel document and get rid of the columns I didn't need to make it a much more usable Excel file. And then I'm going to hit submit. Okay, so notice what it did. It came in and got my extension. It got my name. It's going to give me an error because I've got a lot of columns with nothing in it. But here's my regen. It's going to make it one for me. This is not going to work. It's going to give me an error almost after one extension probably. So once it loads and you hit import, so as you can see, that didn't work very well. So the first one's good. So if you do this right, if you make your Excel, you get rid of the columns you don't need, you fill in the columns you do need, which I showed you where that is. This should just be a green bar going down, green, 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 green. And at the end, you're just going to hit finished, and you're going to go ahead and go back to your extensions here, and you'll find all of the extensions have been made for you. And the same is true for, if we were to take a look, go back to our BulkHandler, and if you want to put in a mass number of DIDs, go ahead and make, so DIDs are your inbound routes, so I've made some DIDs already here. Same thing, make a DID, send it somewhere, and then you can go to the BulkHandler. You can export that. So it's going to obviously be different because it's not extensions. If we open that up, so notice there's much fewer column headings. And then here is the, all right, there's the actual DID right here under the column of heading or extension actually. And you would type in all of your DIDs you want, and then kind of fill in the rest of these categories, save it, and then import that back. Hopefully that was helpful with regards to large number of extensions and DIDs. As always, if you have any questions, give us a call. Thanks. Have a great day.